Welcome to See Me. Today's guest is Dr. Craig Cook, CEO of the Brain and Performance Centre here in Dubai. He is a firm advocate for neurodivergent individuals and families. I'm very excited about today's conversation. Welcome. So, thank you very much for joining me.
Pleasure, Maura. Pleasure to be here.
I would love to start today with your journey and neurodivergence. Where would you feel most comfortable starting?
Well, I think there's probably only one way to start, and that's at the beginning, I guess. So, for us as a family, we have a son, Zander, who's currently 8 years old. He has non-verbal autism, and it has been a journey, that's for sure. So I remember as if it was yesterday. So we had one of the most memorable nights of our life in kind of around when he was 2 years old. He was not well and he had a really high-grade fever, like prolonged high-grade fever. And it was after an event, a medical event that he had. And unfortunately, that high-grade fever turned into a very serious febrile seizure. And that was where it all started. So he was rushed unconscious to the hospital. I was in the ambulance with him. My wife and my daughter came in a separate vehicle to the hospital. And from there, it was a road that changed his life, changed our life. There was a variety of testing that was done in the hospital, post visits, all of the above, and there was really nothing that was found. But we knew something was different. He started to display symptoms quite soon after that event that we were kind of a little in denial about from the beginning. And then over and over and over, they were reinforced. But my wife, she picked it up almost straight away. Lizelle is a champion of our household and the leader of the tribe, so to speak. But she knew straight away. She wanted to understand more and continued to take Zander to assessments. And for me, it was he'll be okay. He'll grow out of it. It'll be all right. And that level of denial and lack of acceptance stayed with me for quite a while. So he was 2 at that stage. He's now 8. And Zander's journey has been a colorful journey nonetheless. And I wouldn't change it for the world. He's a brilliant little man and someone that, is my strongest advocate in the house, so to speak. But I'd do anything for him. It's been a journey, that's for sure.
How do you think receiving the diagnosis and that journey has changed your misconceptions or previous maybe misconceptions?
I think from an understanding perspective, even though when we received the diagnosis, I still didn't really want to accept it. I still thought, maybe they got it a little bit wrong. But then we saw someone else who said, no, it'll be okay. And, it's an age thing and don't worry about it. And that went through, I'm going to say 4.5 years of his life. And it was like on, off, until we came to the Brain and Performance Centre and we had a full evaluation, like an assessment like nothing else. So when you go to a speech or an OT or an ABA professional or a neurologist, they see your child for 40 minutes. Oh yeah, boof, here's the label. This is what he has. Like, well, just because he fits in a assessment bucket where you get to tick doesn't necessarily mean that that's how it is. And I'm all about challenging convention and trying to understand, even though it might be that way, it doesn't have to be that way. So for me, it was when I came to the center, it gave me more hope because I would be able to understand the root cause and why and how and what could we do to support. So Zander's journey, for example, here, he went through an extensive array of assessments, which we can get into later if that's necessary. But we then got a diagnosis, yes. But we got a reason for it and the trigger for it and why and how and what we could do to help him be the best version of himself. And I think that was what was really important for me to gain acceptance. Until then, was like, you fit in a bucket, you get a label, and wish you the best. Go out into society and hopefully someone will accept you. Now with the assessment here at the Brain and Performance Center, we got an understanding, not just a diagnosis, but the reason for it, ways in which we could support and give Zander the opportunity to be the best version of himself. And that helped me to understand how to be the best father, how to be the best husband, how to be the best person that is his support network. That was really important for us.
Incredible, incredible. Do you feel that, you know, in the early stages where you weren't sure and you were not ready for acceptance, that there was a fear element?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
What were you afraid of?
Afraid of what would his life look like? What would his schooling life look like? What would his relationship life look like? What would his post-schooling work life look like? What will society think? Now, I don't care what society thinks. Like, I'm sorry to be so obnoxious about it, but
I think it's
I
important.
care about him. What the external noise is, let it be themselves. But for me, it's about being the apex predator, the lion that protects my cub. And if that's what I need to do to be the provider for him, to be his best self, then I will do that. And if it means that there are people in society that don't accept him, that look down on him, then I'm going to protect him. And that might not be good for them. But I can tell you what, it will be good for him.
Have you experienced that?
Yeah, very frequently.
Really?
We live in a quote unquote inclusive society. And some people in some places are super inclusive, like really, really, really supportive and understanding, and give formats and forums and programs for children that are non-neurotypical to be them.
Yeah.
But then there are places in restaurants, in sporting arenas, in theme parks, where you get people that don't understand. I can tell you a story that completely blew my mind. And it took me to a place where I wasn't happy to be. Zander loves to swim.
Yeah.
Like, loves the pool, loves trampoline, loves active sports, right? So we're at a pool at a hotel in a city in the UAE. And the lifeguard looked at me and said, "What's wrong with him?" in that type of tone. Now, I wasn't proud of what I said next, and I will remember it for a very long time. But the way in which that exemplifies some people's level of lack of understanding is true. And after it, I came back and thought, you know what? I could have handled that better. I could have delivered that message to that poor lifeguard a lot differently. But that was kind of my trigger to stand up and say, it's my responsibility to now help educate. Not myself only, but other people.
Absolutely.
And one of the reasons why I started this advocacy journey was to help people to understand that the condition that my son has doesn't make him less than.
No.
Doesn't make him a second-rate member of society. Doesn't make him someone that gets to say, what's wrong with him? and that he's just wired a little bit differently to what people consider, quote unquote, normal to be. So that was kind of a bad experience, but it triggered a great experience in me.
I think their moments do. I do think that they're powerful, and I don't know if any parent wouldn't respond defending their child in that.
Yeah, I'm a protector. My wife is also a protector, and you have things that set you off.
Yeah.
And it can be a look, it can be a comment, it can be a... But I will not stop protecting him, nor my other two children either. But Zander will always get a heightened level of sensitivity and protectiveness because he's right now unable to defend himself. And he shouldn't have to.
No, he shouldn't. Sorry, my eyes are... it's not the AC, it's the sinuses.
I thought it was looking into my eyes made you cry, but it is what it is.
No, so just apologies. Within that, do you think that Zander brought to you, I suppose, maybe caring less about what society thinks? I think we grow up in a society where we have to look to the outside world about how we behave and how we are, and internally it mightn't be authentic to how we feel in that given moment. And I certainly know when I had my daughter, I started to care less about what others thought. If she had a moment in a supermarket, she's only 2, they're going to have these moments. And people look, and that's where she's at. But I just started to care less when I had her. And I'm just wondering, for you, do you feel that perhaps having Zander, it allowed you a bit more freedom to be yourself?
No, I'm not really sure, because I have 3 amazing kids. Zola, who's almost 10, Zander, who's 8, and Zuri, who's almost 2. And kids are kids. I grew up in a society that was, a little bit, you fit in the box or people look at you odd. And that was almost 50 years ago. For me, society, doesn't matter which country you live in, has evolved in the last 50 years. So from that perspective, I would say, has it changed me and given me an opportunity to be a little freer? I don't think so. It's helped me to focus more on my kids than it did on myself. When I've been in the UAE now almost 30 years, or just on 30 years, and you sit back and think, when I first came here, I came here as a young professional. I came here and I lived in Dubai and nothing mattered. It was just me. I met my wife here, I changed as a person and grew up. And I think we're blessed to live in the UAE where there are a million opportunities to be who you want to be, if you allow yourself to be that person. There's a lot of stereotypes, there's a lot of, be this or be that, or drive this car or wear these shoes. Honestly, I've never been that person. I'm just me. Mm-hmm. If people like it, it's okay. If they don't, well, that's for them. But that's the kind of DNA I learned from my family, and that's the kind of DNA that I'm bringing into the journey with Zander. I was protective to be able to say, shh, don't make so much noise, or don't do this, or don't do that. That's because I didn't understand him. I was already in denial. I didn't understand what he was going through. And then got to a stage where I thought, you know what? I'm ready to accept this.
Yeah.
And only then was I able to understand and sit back and, am I still a little defensive when we sit in a restaurant and he's banging on the table or yelling at his iPad? Yeah, a little. But I'm less cognizant or stressed about what other people think or feel, and more understanding of what sensory input do you need right now, Zander, to be who you want to be. Like, is there too much music in the restaurant, or is the food not really what you wanted anyway? Do you know what I mean? So it's more about understanding him versus wanting to understand what other people care or think.
I'm really interested to hear in that, where you say that sometimes it impacts you. Do you think, and I guess I'll use my own example, sometimes where my daughter's having very big feelings all day, if we're going through a big transition, I become dysregulated. And I need a moment to regulate myself, or I need to identify that before I become, I guess, it comes to a meltdown or a spillover, as I prefer to call it. And I need to manage myself. Do you feel as a parent sometimes that them behaviors trigger us as well? Or how would you manage that?
I would say for me, my biggest regulator is Lizelle. Like, if I am not able to accept, or I am looking at the world through a lens that isn't what would be typical for us, she will say to me, hey, listen, I think you need to take a moment. And that for me is a snap trigger that says, you know what, breathe for a second and let's get this back on track. And that's, like, I'm forever grateful for that. Like, because I don't ever want to be in a place where I say or do something that is not who I really am. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the support. Like, honestly, she holds us all together. And I can sit here honestly and say that I would not be in the place that I am today if it wasn't for her level of support, passion, dramatic understanding. And she has kept us all together. So I'm truly grateful.
The journey, I guess, having 3 children anyway is quite challenging. We've recently experienced the change in our relationship and navigating that there's extra. How has the whole journey for you in your relationship? How has that been?
It's tough. Like, there are days that are better than others, because sometimes we're like ships that pass in the night. Hi, how you going? Yeah, good. Okay, bye. I've got to put Zuri to bed. I've got to put Zander to bed. I've got to put Zola to bed. And then only once the kids are asleep do we then get to, like, communicate, talk about each other's day. Like, we chat during the day and that's normal, but like, we have a lot more kid conversations than we do adult conversations. And, that has pluses and minuses, let's be honest. But, where I'm at is we have 3 kids, one who is 1,000,000% independent, and she does her own thing, puts herself to bed, does her own homework, like, legend. Then we have Zander, who needs a little bit more support, and I always put him to bed, and Zuri, who's still young and still needs mama. So the dynamics change on a day-to-day basis, but it's up to us as adults to find ways to carve out time for us. Yeah. And it's not easy. We have support at home, which is we're grateful for, but it's still difficult. Of course. But there are times where you just need to say, you know what? We need this space for us, not because we want to run away to another country and never come back, but to be, like someone told me today, you can't be drinking from an empty cup. And it's like, if you don't have that opportunity to recharge, you can't turn up for all your kids, not just one of them, but all 3. So be recharged, be in control, and sometimes to be able to take a step away can help you to be there. Like we had a family judge us recently. Like Lizelle and I went away for the weekend to an event. It was a work event, but we went. Kids stayed at home. We had our support with our kids. All was good. You left your kids for the weekend? You left the country? I'm like, yeah. You don't feel bad about it? I said, yeah, every minute that I was away, I felt guilty. Lizelle felt guilty every minute we were away. But we were away 48 hours. We came back. Kids were still alive, thank goodness. And, we had fully recharged. We're at a work event. It was busy. But it was that step away to be able to fill the cup back up again, to be turning up every day to help Zola and Zander and Zuri be themselves. And that's sometimes really necessary.
And you shouldn't have had to explain that.
Shouldn't have had to.
No.
But people don't understand.
They don't understand. I also think that sometimes people judge and they don't look inside their own home when they're judging others. So
yeah,
I usually in them instances, if I feel judgment, I just feel empathy and pity for the person, because whatever's going on in their life that they're not looking at and they're judging the outside world.
Yeah.
So it helps me navigate.
It does happen.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Absolutely. But I do agree. And then what about you individually, outside of the whole family? How do you manage that time, or are you able for yourself?
So I live in Abu Dhabi and work here in Dubai. My home time, or my alone time, is that 45 minutes every morning driving to work, 45 minutes driving home in the evening. That's my decompression time. So, do I love sport? Yes. Do I play golf? When I can. Do I love rugby? Yes. But for me, I need space to unwind. Like being here every day at the Brain and Performance Center, we have an unbelievable opportunity to give independence and hope to people. And yes, there's still a business to run at the end of the day, but you sit there and you have people download their life to you every day. And I wouldn't change that for the world, but there's a lot of pressure involved in that. They have expectations of different levels of recovery and independence and things like this, that our clinical teams here do a tremendous job in helping them on that journey. But there's a lot of expectation. There's a lot of pressure. Forget the fact that, it's a business as well. And whilst we have opportunities to do that, my space to unwind or unravel or yell and sing and scream as much as I want is from 5 to 5:45 every morning driving from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, or in the evening driving home after an event or after work. And that's my space to be before I take on the next challenge. And it's walk in the door. It's make sure the kids are fed. It's put Zander to bed. And then hopefully, after Zander's asleep, I get up and Lizelle has put one of the others to sleep and we're good. Sometimes we're too shattered. I pass out putting Zander to bed, or she passes out putting Zuri to sleep. And then we see each other the next day. So, you're right to say we need to carve out time. It just, in life, you need to put in the effort to carve that time out. Yeah. It doesn't just come.
Yeah, you need to remember that someday the children will grow up.
Yeah. And
it will be you too, and you're going to evolve regardless, but
sure.
You evolve together.
Yeah.
And you sit across on the rocking chair from each other still.
Say, didn't we miss that last 25 years of our life? What happened?
Who are you? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Craig. Nice to meet you.
Yes. This is what's happened in the last 25 years in my life. What happened in
yours?
What
happened in yours? Yeah.
So it is so important. And just where you mentioned there about work, that decompression time, I think that's so important, that family and organizations, that it's seamless, that there is at the end of the day that moment to decompress, because you never know what you're going to face coming in a door in your home, how the day has been. So you need to be ready for anything that might come your way.
Yeah.
How do you think organizations are supporting, or are they, have you seen it, neurodivergent individuals and talent?
So let me touch on, I think, one thing before we get into that. You said, what do you expect when you open the door when you get home?
Yeah.
I've learnt to not expect anything because no one day looks the same. It's just one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. That moment, that breath, that moment. And if you sit there and think, okay, when I get home, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to spend 5 minutes doing this. I'm going to wash the dog. I'm going to, eat, and then I'm going to take care of this, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
My kids have other ideas on that. And even though there might be a plan and there might be a structure, it never works that way. So expect the unexpected and never have a plan. Okay, it might look like this. This is what I'd like it to look like. And maybe you get 10% of that. Or maybe 15 on a good day. But don't expect that you're going to follow that structure the whole way through.
You have 3 CEOs in your home.
No. 4.
4, you do, yeah.
No. Zuri, Zola, Zander, and Lizelle.
Yeah.
I'm just the garbage man or the taxi driver or that's me. Yeah. I'm just dad. But they rule the house. And that's okay. Yeah. I'm okay with that. There was a time when I was, I wanted to stand up and say, you know what? No, this is my house. That was slapped out of me real quickly. Reality check. No, sir, you are not. This is just the way it's going to be. And honestly, I'm okay with that. It's okay. So coming back to your question that I've talked all the way around, what are companies doing to accept and understand? And what are they doing to provide opportunity? I'm going to say something that's a little controversial. Mm-hmm. I would say most companies don't. I will say that they have a slogan on their website mm-hmm. or a label on their set of vision, purpose, values that say that they do. But living it? No, I don't think so. Now, it's not fair to say all companies don't, because there are some that do. But I will say that most companies that I work with, and when I say work with, not in my current company, but what I do see in partners that we work with, other corporate entities that we deal with, we have a great inclusive program. Okay. And I don't create massive waves, but knowing what a true inclusive program should look like to be able to support my son, mm-hmm. I can sit there and think, you know what? This might work as a slogan or a catchphrase, but it doesn't really help where the rubber hits the road. Now, carrying on my controversial journey will be schooling. When we spoke about this a little bit earlier. True inclusivity in schooling, very, very hard to find in this market. Everyone is regulated to say that they have inclusive programs. And Zander's journey, it's not been easy. He's in a school in Abu Dhabi now. It's a mainstream school with a special education class in the school. And it's okay. It's not perfect. It's not ideal for his needs, but it's okay. So, there were times when we thought, okay, instead of driving from Dubai, we will move the family to Dubai, or maybe we'll change location in Abu Dhabi, so maybe we need to change schooling. My daughter might change. So we did some looking around. And we looked at the best inclusive programs in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And you'd bring your child for an interview and go through a variety of testing. And, child with nonverbal autism, the standard tests don't typically work. oh, well, he's autistic. And I would sit there and say, well, you think? Like in all your levels of experience, you think? I live with him every day. On the application, I said non-verbal autism. Like if you read it, you would know what to expect. Then after 3 interviews and this and that, oh, we don't have a program that supports non-verbal children. So you made him come 3 times for interviews, even though I put it on the application, and you now choose to say, oh, well, you don't have the skills to be able to support that. It's okay. Like not everyone can support these unique needs. I get it. But don't put him through this. Don't put my wife through this. Like I'm a big boy, I can handle, but he shouldn't have to come 3 times for interviews when you then know you weren't going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Don't do it because you want to say, oh, well, we tried, but we can't. If you're truly inclusive, you should be able to provide skills that have the children with unique needs catered for.
Yeah.
Zander has a private teacher that is with him all day. He goes to ABA, he goes to speech, he goes to OT. So he has a variety of therapies that he attends as well. So he has a big day. But I would say that when you talk about schooling, this market has some schooling and some brilliant things for UAE nationals in Abu Dhabi, some brilliant schools, but it doesn't accept expatriates. So the skills are there. There's just a need and a gap that hopefully as society here continues to develop, there are opportunities for children with these unique needs and unique skill sets to be able to continue their learning journey.
And what about in the workplace? What do you think can happen now? What changes do you think can start happening? How do you think companies could actually be? Because I'm not really sure what's out there right now within the UAE that are actually really, really inclusive.
So there are some companies, and like our parent, DP World, they have an inclusivity program. They do employ people of determination of all different disciplines. But there are many companies that don't. So what I would say is this. If you are going to be, as a company, an inclusive employer, be really there. Don't just have it as a quote unquote CSR initiative on your website. Like, be there. Provide opportunity, provide support, and provide real understanding for people who truly need it. That's what I would say. There are many companies that do, but there are a tremendous amount of companies that do not.
I do not. Sorry, I'm still streaming here. The tears keep coming. So how do they do it? How do you feel that, let's say, DP World are neurodivergent affirming with employees, with customers? What does that look like on an everyday basis?
So the beauty that I will say, and I don't want to delve too deep into the exact program, but what I will say is this: their understanding that every person is different is what really impresses me. The requirements of someone with motor neural disease versus someone with a physical disability is very different. The requirements of someone with autism or ADHD versus someone with cerebral palsy is different. It's not just, we have an inclusive program, here's the bucket. If you fit in this, this is what we do. I love the fact that they treat people as individuals. And that's what's really stuck with me. Because if you think about the visionary leadership of the chairman, Sultan bin Sulayem is a brilliant mind. He's a brilliant man, and someone has a vision like nothing I've ever seen before. Obviously, he gets that from the leadership of the country, the leadership of the city, but what he's done to be able to support people, not neurotypical and non-neurotypical people,
That's what I want to hear.
but people.
Yeah, as they are.
It's really, really impressive. And for that, I have the utmost admiration.
Wow, impressive. So here in the Brain and Performance Centre, do you feel your team are capable of supporting neurodivergent individuals?
Now, if I said no, that would be a little suicidal. But yeah, categorically, yes. And I can say that from my own personal journey, not just from being the CEO of the clinic. Zander came here and he went through the program.
Yeah.
He spent time in the clinic. My wife spent time here. And, you sit back and think to yourself, when we came, it's like, is this really going to help? We had one of the professors reach out and say, you know what? We want to try and help Zander. We think that we're able to help him on his journey. You should consider it. Like, yeah, okay. I started to work here. I spent time. I worked for the Cleveland Clinic for many years, and I had access to what I thought was all the care in the world. The best possible physicians, therapists from the US, from the UK, from the UAE, like anywhere the Cleveland Clinic had presence, we had access. And I thought it was amazing. And it was. But it wasn't what Zander needed at that time in his journey. So we came here and we decided to enroll him in the Brain and Performance Center program for youth, which is what we call it here in our children's wing. And Lizelle and I sat back and thought, no medicine, no chemicals, 100% natural. How bad can it really be? Can't do him any damage. Let's try. So we did. A few sessions in, nothing. We looked at each other. I run this place. Feels a bit weird that nothing's happening. And then went back to the professor and I said, when should we start to see things? It's like, we're creating a systematic change in Zander's body. Take time. Hang out. You'll be okay. He has neural inflammation. We're trying to take the inflammation out of his brain. We're trying to hyperoxygenate his brain to be able to help him. So from that perspective, it takes time. Then I remember as if it was yesterday, 20 odd sessions in. Put him to bed like I do every night. Tuck him in. I co-sleep with Zander. It's what I do to help him to go to sleep. Tuck him in. Papa loves you. He looks up. Duff, you. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. It's like, sorry, what? He didn't repeat it, didn't say it again. But for me, we live in this house that has these little Ring app cameras everywhere. My wife must be addicted to them because every time I come home, there's a new one. So it's like spying on the kids. Maybe it's check me out. Maybe it's to make sure that I'm doing the right thing at home.
Doing the dishes.
Yeah. Scrub the floors. Wash the dishes. So I played it back. And from the app, and there it was, clear as day. And that was a really emotional moment for us. Like it was the beginning of the systematic change in his body. And it continued to evolve from being completely nonverbal to now being able to count. 1, 2, 3. Like not fully enunciated, but something. So we knew it was in there. Letters, A, B, K. Like things were there. We'd not heard them before. And it developed over and over and over and continued to grow. And then he finished treatment and it continued on. So we thought, you know what, let's give him some more. So he would come from Abu Dhabi to Dubai every day, come down, do his session in the hyperbaric oxygen therapy chamber, and go back. And he slept better. He was more regulated. He's, becoming more verbal, let's say. Is he a neurotypical 8-year-old? No. But when he came here, he was not promised to be a neurotypical child. He was promised to give him the tools to be the best version of himself. And that's okay. I'm in acceptance of that. My wife is in acceptance of that. So I can say with the utmost certainty, it did change his life. Now, the care team of the physicians, the neuropsychologists, the nursing team, the physical performance team that support his journey and every other child's journey here, are they equipped to take care of neurodivergent people, whether they be children or adults? Categorically 100% yes, in answer to your first question. I know I got on a little bit of a journey, but the simple answer is yes.
It's usually the way I answer questions too. It takes a while. And have you found from individuals coming in here that they've all experienced similar transformations? Has there been any exceptions? Because obviously I know this is new research out there. It's still, being researched at the moment.
So we have a tremendous amount of research that's been done for a variety of indications, especially with children. So whether it be cerebral palsy, traumatic brain injury, autism spectrum disorder, non-genetic ASD, ADHD, all of these, let's say, neural conditions for children. And the good news story is we haven't had anyone that has regressed. How the program works here is you go through 3 days initially of assessments, so we understand where the baseline is. Then you go through the 60 sessions of hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and then you do the 3 days of assessment again. So when you're doing the 60 sessions, you're actually doing occupational therapy, you're doing neuropsychology, you're doing physical performance to support you on this program. So once you do the end assessments after the program, we measure the delta between both. So from that standpoint, everyone progresses in one domain or another. You may not go from being non-neurotypical to changing your life and being Cristiano Ronaldo overnight. That's not what we promise. But we do say that through medical and scientific research that everyone will progress in some domain. Now, I can say that for me as a father of Zander, but there are many other published testimonials of children that came in with cerebral palsy, for example, who were in a wheelchair, unable to walk, and now are able to walk aided with a walker, which has changed their levels of independence, their life, their future. So for me, I see this as a center of hope, a center of opportunity. Yes, it's a regulated Dubai Health Authority medical facility, but it gives the gift of hope and support to families that have potentially lost hope. And I think that that's a really amazing gift to be able to give.
Absolutely. It's incredible. Is it something that every family could afford? Because I know here, obviously, it's challenging. You'll have experienced that when you look for assistance, that it can be very unattainable for some families.
Yeah, I would say that if you think about what a program of, let's say, 3 months would cost, it's an extensive program. Now, there are some families that, find it financially complicated, and we work with them in a variety of ways. One of which is, some levels of the program are, reimbursed through insurance. Not all, but some. And I think that from a regulatory standpoint, we could continue to get support from the government to be able to lobby insurance companies to support indications that need this type of treatment. The research exists that it does help. So from that standpoint, that's one element. The other element is we have created, in partnership with the DP World Foundation, an opportunity to give back, to be able to raise funding for people who truly need it. Not everyone. At the end of the day, we are supportive of a variety of different, conditions here at the clinic. And I think that if we're able to give back, it is one of our, let's say, missions to be able to support people who truly need support. Now, this partnership with the DP World Foundation has been phenomenal. We've been able to help a lot of children. And just most recently, my wife, Lizelle, she went on, in April, Autism Awareness Month. She trekked to Mount Everest Base Camp with the team to raise funds and to raise awareness for children with autism spectrum disorder. And really soon we will publish a silent auction. It will come out in partnership with the DP World Foundation to be able to raise more funds. So whilst you say for some families it may be unattainable, there are ways in which, if you think off the bat, that must be expensive, I couldn't achieve that, just come and talk to us.
Yeah.
There are ways in which we can find ways to support people. Now, will this say that we'll be able to support 2 million people a year? No, probably not. But there are ways in which we can support people who truly need support.
It's amazing to hear. It's rare you do get that out there these days, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's important to give back, Máire.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, I'm all about now. I wasn't before, but I'm all about now helping people to be the best versions of themselves. I have faced quite a bit of complicated loss in my life from my father. And for me, if I take anything away from his memory, it's about making sure you're able to support people who really need help.
Yeah.
Don't walk away. Don't be that person that looks across the table and thinks, not today. Be that person that has the olive branch already extended. Be that person who, if there's any opportunity to change, you change. So after he passed, I had an opportunity to reflect. I went, for me, to a really bad place. But I went through a journey with a coach that was able to bring my life back to a place of acceptance of what happened to him. And then I would say I continue to learn lessons from him, even though he's not here anymore. And that helps me be the best husband, the best father, the best leader, the best coach, the best person I can be. I mightn't fit in a box, and that's okay. I have people say to me every day, how can you say that? I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
If you don't feel that that's right for you, it's okay. But don't communicate with me in that way. If you don't feel that we can't connect because you don't like the way I approach things or my vision or my views on things, it's okay. I want to be the best version of me. And if that gives me the opportunity to help others, that's great. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It's what life's about. If you can make a difference to one person and they pay it forward and you just keep doing that, then we all make a difference.
Yeah.
And that starts with a voice, which I suppose is today, and very grateful for your ongoing voice. When you talk about the best version of you in terms of a husband, in terms of a boss, I guess a lot of your passion intertwines.
Yeah, I'm not anyone's boss. Like,
Good.
that's not me.
Yeah.
Like, the team here will tell you, I'm sometimes too active in the environment of support. Not that I'm a micromanager, not that I am that person, but I'm very involved. I do long hours. I'm very attached to the team. And that's because if I'm able to guide them to be a very minuscule percentage better than they were the day before, I can go home happy.
Yeah.
If I'm able to help them be the best versions of themselves, great. I feel like I've done a good thing. But I can say that how I react and how I have levels of transparency with the team is now a much better place because of my levels of acceptance of where I was with Zander. I was a very closed person before. I wasn't as open. I wasn't as supportive. I was that guy. And now
Who's that guy?
That guy was a person who would just not give much of himself. Would just do my thing and move on. My thing, not anyone else's, mine. And now, for the last, I'm going to say 3-4 years, where I've really come to levels of acceptance with Zander's journey, I've become a different version of me, and one that I like better. And I think being more giving, being more supportive, being more understanding are things that I knew were always in my DNA, but I was just unable to get them out. Now, it seems kind of like innate, just happens. Like, I don't have to think about, I'm going to be nice to this person today.
Yeah.
It just happens. And like, in my past, I worked for a company where the CEO was an extremely high profile person. A guy by the name of Michael Eisner. He was Disney's CEO for many years. And he used to tell us one story. And it's the most stupid story, but it's the most real thing that's kept with me all these years. It's like, you wake up in the morning, and when you work for us, you put on your stage makeup. Now, it could be really thin, or it could be 1 kilometer thick. But when you get out, walk in the door here, you're on stage. People pay you for an experience. They don't pay you for anything else. They come to the happiest place on earth for a reason. They don't want to be bothered by your problems. So you put your stage makeup on and you go out on stage. You go home and you take your stage makeup off. And then you're you. But you're a character on stage the whole day. And honestly, that's how some people live their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But right now, I'm so happy because I don't wear stage makeup anymore, but I can still deliver the same experience. So for me, it was an aha moment, I guess, to be able to sit back and think, you know what? I'm in a better place for me, which helps me to be in a better place for everyone else.
Absolutely.
So that's something that I can sit back and think, I've grown up a little.
I think as a leader, it also allows people to see the humanness of you. You know, when you're able to show your vulnerability, they can advocate for themselves and know that they'll be accepted. The whole team is going to work better.
Yeah.
When you're able to do that as a leader.
Yeah, true.
So that moment, do you think, was kind of a turning point for you when you heard him tell that story?
I heard him firsthand, and that was in 1995.
I probably was there that year.
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, that was something that I heard and thought, that's a bit of a weird comment, but okay, I work for you, so I better follow the line. And only later in life, some like many, many years after, did it really start to resonate. Like it was there. It was sitting in my subconscious, burning a hole doing something. And then you have this aha moment and think, you know what? He ran one of the biggest entertainment companies on the planet for a reason. Like he's got something here. This guy, he's actually pretty smart. I'm going to take it and I'm going to use it. So I dredged it up from the back of my subconscious, and now it's something that I think about on a very regular basis.
So you're just your authentic self all the time.
Honestly,
It's
yeah.
a seamless transition.
For me, I don't present anyone different than me. What you see is what you get. I wasn't always this way, as I say. But what the team will tell you here and what my family would tell you is I'm no different in the work environment to what I am at home. What you see is what you get. You mightn't like it or you might love it, but it's just me.
And what does home life look like for you? I know you're here with the team supporting them. Your eyes are on who needs support every day, which is still a weight to carry while minding yourself and decompressing on the way home. What does life look like? How does communication flow? What's the home life like? I know it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
Most homes are.
Yeah, it is unpredictable, but you know, for us, like we have 3 amazing kids. I have an amazing wife, and Lizelle runs our household seamlessly. We communicate as often as we can, many times during the day, and in the evening when we can.
As a family, how do you communicate? Like, can you guys sit together and work together, or how does that work?
Yeah, like the weekend is typically for family.
Yeah.
So we do activities on a Saturday, we do activities on a Sunday, whether they be extracurricular activities for Zander or Zola, whether they be we go and do something as a family on Saturday. It could be a theme park. It could be, you know, we spend time in the pool or go to the beach or go on the boat or go away for the weekend. But the weekend typically is for family.
Yeah.
And we have nights that are, okay, Friday night is pizza night. And that's what we do. We make pizza, we put it in the pizza oven, and we do our thing. But that's what's important to us right now. Now, can that change? Yeah, sure. But kids look forward to it.
Yeah.
And I think that what Lizelle and I do is try and give our kids everything that we didn't have as kids.
Yeah.
And we try and support them in any way we can.
Amazing. So would you say that the girls are forthcoming in talking, or do you feel that sometimes where there's extra supports needed for Zander that they may take a step back?
No, definitely not.
Good.
You know, when you have a one neurotypical older child, you have a non-neurotypical middle child and a neurotypical younger child, you think one gets more attention than the other.
Yeah.
And there are days when that plays on my mind and it plays on Lizelle's mind, because Zander does get a lot of support. But Zola, our oldest, is probably very closely following Lizelle and I in terms of advocacy for Zander.
Amazing.
Like, she is his biggest cheerleader. And honestly, I couldn't want for more for her. She's a brilliant mind. She's very creative. And like, bless her, she's amazing. And the same for Zuri. She's a lot younger. She's almost 2, but she's growing. And you know, she plays with her brother. And, you know, for her, she plays with him equally as much as she does with Zola. It's not discriminatory or anything. Not like, oh, well, he's rough with me, or no. They get on very well together. The home dynamic's great, and from a level of support, like I couldn't ask for anything better. Like I'm truly, and I mean this with all the seriousness in the world, my family life is amazing. And it's amazing because of the 4 people other than me that's there. Lizelle and Zola and Zander and Zuri, they're my life. And truly, they're a blessing to be a part of their world.
Is there any message that you would want to give to other parents out there?
You're not alone. I think for me, we felt during parts of this journey that we were the only people on an island, and there was nothing and no way to get out. There wasn't even Wilson. Like Tom Hanks couldn't
Yes.
talk to Wilson and say, I need your help. There was nothing. And the journey that we've been on has taught us that we're not the only people on this island. There are others. And it's becoming less like an island, but there's still elements that make it feel that way. But know that there are people out there, like us, that can be as simple as a call, an Instagram message, a LinkedIn message, a shoulder to cry on, or someone to say, you know what? I heard that the other day. I was listening to Moira's podcast and I heard you say this. You know what? That resonates with me. And that's okay. For me, I was telling you before, I had someone reach out from outside my network, from the other side of the world, that said, I heard you say this. I want you to come and say that to my school. I'm like, yeah, we'll play the video. It's okay. It's like, it's not the same. It's not the same hearing it face to face with the conviction that exists, the real life behind it. So for me, the message is, don't just accept.
Absolutely.
You're not alone. There are people that can help, that can support. And don't ever stop. We were ready to stop. Before we came to the Brain and Performance Center, we were ready to say, you know what? There's nothing else to do. Everyone's telling us no. The door's slammed in the face. No, we can't help. Until we came here. And I will be forever grateful for what the team has done for Zander's journey in his life. But for other parents out there, just know, picking up the phone, writing a message, or saying, I need help, is not a bad thing.
Absolutely no.
You have the opportunity. You can do this. It took me a long time to do it. But it's possible. It's in there. You just have to find a way to get it out. So be you, be authentic. And when it's your time, when you're ready to accept, when you're ready to accept help or support or a conversation from someone who gets it, then reach out. So I know that was a bit of a long-winded answer to say what's next or what's the message, but that was what I needed.
Yeah, no, it's very important because acceptance takes time. It takes understanding, and to be able to allow yourself to be vulnerable is a very scary place. We try to be strong for way too long because vulnerability seems weak.
Yeah.
And asking for help seems like weakness, where it's a strength. And I think that's a very important message for everyone to hear.
Yeah.
And I really hope they do reach out.
Sure.
What does the future look like in an ideal world? What would you want for your children as they grow up, as they set into the world of whatever career path they decide, which is a while off yet? And I guess on the journey there, what would an ideal world look like in terms of schooling, if you could create it? we had a magic wand and say, okay, let's create this future?
Yeah, I think for Zola and Zuri, they're going to create their own path, their own journey, and Lizelle and I will be there every step of the way as cheerleaders to be able to support that. For Zander, I think that what I would hope is as society in general develops, there becomes more inclusive educational opportunities for people with unique needs. And I say that not only for children with autism or children with nonverbal autism, I say that for children in general. I would hope that the regulators of our country, and when I say our country, I claim ownership after 30 plus years, but our country realize true inclusivity is not a label.
Yes.
And they push for continued acceptance and continued inclusivity to be able to support every child, not just to support one tier of society or one condition that children have. Our children, face a variety of challenges, but true inclusivity is to be able to support all, not to be able to support a cross section.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So that's kind of what I'd hope for Zander's educational journey. Post that, I want to provide him an opportunity and a platform to be the best version of himself. What that looks like, he's continually evolving. He's growing and developing every day. Do I know in my mind what the future is going to hold? No. But will I love him and support him the entire journey? Categorically, yes. So we'll watch this space and see what happens. But he will have our full support, that's for sure.
Amazing. Is there anything that we didn't talk about today that you think would be important for listeners to hear?
I think what I would say is this. Take the time you need to be you. I think everyone wants to be okay. But one thing I said recently that, and I'm laughing because I'm thinking back the occasion when I said it, but it's okay not to be okay. Like, there are days that are going to be completely crap. I don't know if I can say crap on your podcast, but now I've said it twice.
Say what you want.
Said it twice now. There are those.
That's you, and that's what we.
It could have been a lot worse. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
There could be days, and there will be days that are not good, and that's okay. But my wife taught me post her Everest trek, 1 foot in front of the other, 1 step at a time. You don't know what's over that hill. You don't know what's over that ridge. It's likely to be another mountain, but that's okay. You'll get there, 1 foot in front of the other, 1 step at a time. And even though the journey's tough, the destination is beautiful.
Yes.
So we will get there. And it will be an interesting and colorful journey. But that's more than okay. That's kind of what I would say is a takeaway moment.
It's beautiful and so important. Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
Honesty and vulnerability.
Thank you, Máire. It's been a pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And thank you to the Brain and Performance Centre for hosting us here today.
And it's a pleasure. I think where I'm at with this is we have opportunities to give back.
Yes.
We have opportunities to provide awareness. We have opportunities to provide platforms for parents to be able to say, you know what? There are other people going through these tough days that I go through. So if I'm able to touch the life of anyone, then it's been a good day. So for parents out there, if you need anything, if you need a call, a shoulder to cry on, or just someone to say, you know what, it's been a tough day, feel free to reach out. I live this life every day. I'm not the CEO of this company. I'm a parent who truly gets it. So if you need something, you know how to reach out. I wish you all the best, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you again.